What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking 3% burn. Is that the way forward? Equally, what's the latest with the Binance information? I'm going to bring you my latest in terms of where I think we're going to be. We're going to take a look also at the price and is the on-chain volume going up in the right direction. So before we get into the video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also leave a like on this video. I do appreciate all the support, and let's dive directly into this one. So we're going to come back really and talk about prices and equally the Binance burns that's coming up. But there's a lot of talk right now of whether we need a 3% burn on Terra Luna Classic. And I'm going to go out there and say I don't think it's too soon. I think we need to wait and see. We need to look and see what market sentiment looks like before we start going and changing and doing more proposals and things, because people ultimately just lose patience. Now, taking a look at Terra Luna Classic, we are 1751. The whole market is pretty stagnant right now. We're not really doing a lot. Ranked 39th highest cryptocurrency. Now, remember, we did get the updated circulating supply, which will be updated every single day with the new protocols implemented by Terra Rebels and equally CoinMarketCap. So here, look at 5.996, which is a good number in the fives. Market cap just over $1 billion, 133 million in volume, up 32%, which is a positive thing, albeit we have struggled. You can see here a number of days in terms of quite low volume. Again, reciprocated across really the market. Now, we can look at the slightly more technicals. We saw a big influx of money coming in early on Friday the 18th, so very early on this morning on the 15-minute chart. We saw some nice move all the way up, touching the 18s, which is really positive to see, but we are slowly coming down. Now, generally speaking, we are in line with the market, 1.12% up. Like I said, Bitcoin at 0.33 down, Ether having a little bit of a run, but generally speaking, we are in line with the market. Now, we're looking for some real tests of these kind of high lows. We'll be really looking to get back into the 18s over the course of this weekend. So we take a look at the higher chart ratios. We can see we did see some really nice movement over the course of the last sort of 12 hours. Again, testing these higher ranges up around that 18 mark, a real point of resistance for us. Equally, we have these that we can kind of test as well, the 1750 range. So we're gonna have to wait and see what that looks like. But ultimately, what have we got coming? Well, again, I always bring you to this. Look, the community pool is really starting to motor. We are seeing this increase all the time. It'll be great to then see how this then plays out, what the developments are going to come down, and really ultimately supporting on-chain. And this is where the debate about the 3% burn comes from. Is that the thing we do? Do we get a 3% burn? How do you then get volume onto the chain? That's the most important thing. So we know that with our 0.6% burn, we do see a slightly different amount coming through, as opposed to when we were at 1.2% burn, which was just a significant reduction, and we were down here as low as 12, 13, 14, even 10.5 billion. Now, we have seen some bigger days as people start to move in those funds around. I don't think we have the finished article yet. I do think there's a lot to talk about just in terms of what is the best way. But for me, it is about building. It's all the little bits adding up to really start to make a difference. Great that we're nearly touching that 13% on staking ratio. Again, as we increase that and people gain those rewards from staking, it does, like I always say, stabilize ultimately what we are trying to do. But great to see the community pool funding. Tax rate, sorry, 0.2. I don't know where I got 0.6 from, 0.2%. But the community pool always continuing to grow, which is always a positive thing. Likewise with wallets, etc., they are also starting to go. We don't have any governance proposals coming through. So again, this 3% is ultimately just being talked around within the community and a few other people. Like I said, we need to see what happens. We know we're in a very, very tough market right now. We've just had a giant collapse of FTX, and we are reeling from that as an entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. So we just need to wait and see kind of what that looks like. Ultimately, why are people going to use our blockchain? That has to be the question that we ultimately have. Now, we do have a little sneak trick or something up our sleeves. We have the Binance burn. Now, this has moved to a monthly burn. Now, this is what this will happen. We'll see a significant amount burn as opposed to just a smaller amount, and I think we could start to see a shift in the price. So here we go. In terms of our volume for week one, around $500 million total volume minus that Binance share that we think, which is about 22% that we think it comes off there. Week two, we came in at 459, so not actually as big a reduction as I think a lot of people thought, and we're currently sitting 94 million for this week. Again, we've got the rest of this week and then into next week before we then see that official burn coming on the 2nd of December. But what does it mean in terms of actual burns? Well, it gives us about $1 billion in total volume through Binance. I must stress that. And at current today's price, now again, remember with Terra Luna Classic, the cheaper the price, the more tokens we see burn. Gives us roughly about 6 billion Luna Classic that could be sent to the burn wallet. And overall, if we continued with that, we'd be looking at about 72 billion over the course of the year. Now, again, we want to see that increase, and this is where it's important we start to see projects come on board and equally start to make a difference. If we take a look at the actual burn mechanisms that we have, going over to the Lunc Penguins website, we can ultimately see where that would put us in terms of total burns. You think we're about 28 billion currently, so it would be a significant burn. You'd see Binance would be topping nearly 20 billion burnt through that as we start to see some of the other validators starting to burn. All nodes there, 169 million, always positive to see. We're not seeing the same sentiment we have for a long time where we've seen some big numbers come here, but again, this small amount that keeps adding up to a big number, I think is always a positive. Like I said, always good to see those Binance burns going through. Equally, people staking on the network, I think, is important. But is 3% really going to be the big and all end all? I don't think it will be. Again, we continue to see how this market plays out. When you go in the global market, you can see there's a significant challenge across the whole thing. 0.2%, 831 billion. Remember, we were at $3 trillion market cap. So there's lots more room to grow with Terra Luna Classic. I'm still incredibly bullish on this project. I think there's a lot of potential coming with it. For me, it's about these are the important times. We build when it's really challenging. I don't think we go and change the burn tax. I don't think 3% is the right thing. I think we say at 0.2, we increase volume on chain. We are doing a good job. It's increasing all the time. We just need to solidify that and really start to look at what that looks like going forward. We've got more applications coming, more NFT projects coming, and there's always the debate of whether we can build from Luna. I think it's always worthwhile thinking about how do we get more things on the chain to really support both our blockchain and the future development and ecosystem of Terra Luna Classic. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What do you think of the 3%? Is that something you would go for? Do you think we need to change the burn tax again? Or do you think we need to give it some time, get out of this bear market and see where Terra Luna Classic goes? As ever, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.